Shalom, Most High Christ blessed. This is Brother Habakkuk.
And this is Brother Tarana.
And today's class lesson is called Be Prepared, Fear the Lord, and Be of Good Courage. With the whole coronavirus thing going out, are people being slain in the streets, we probably have questions of wondering why this is going through. But as an Israelite, you probably already know, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15, all these curses are coming upon us because we disobeyed these commandments. However, this message is for us that are now starting to question and think, well, you know, why we're going through this, particularly why is the Most High doing this to us? Why are we going through this? So let's actually start out with Matthew 10 and 22.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
Stop right there. So right here, it's telling us when you take this path to serve the Most High God, you're going to be hated for his name's sake. Read.
But he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
And we're going to be saved if we endure to the end. Now give me John 15, 18, and 20.
John 15, 18, and 20.
Because we got to realize that this path to the Most High, to keep the commandments, to get to the kingdom, it's not going to be an easy path. He's going to try us and test us.
I got to 1 John.
No problem, King. Take your time.
John.
Realize that Christ went through this before we did. Got it yet?
No.
New Testament.
New Testament. Yeah.
After Matthew.
I'm here in Matthew right now. I'm looking for John. It's just this one was.
Don't worry.
Yeah. John.
That one. Thank
Yeah.
you. There you go. Go ahead.
Oh, you said John
Thank you,
15?
King. Yep. John
18.
15, 18 through 20.
All right.
Start with 18.
If the world hated you, ye know that I hated me, and let me read that. If the world hated you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you.
Okay, stop right there. So, when Christ took these commandments, when Christ kept them, know that the world, everyone hated him first before us. Read.
If ye were of the world would love his own.
Stop right there. If you're part of this world, you're not. Chances are you're probably not going to go through much tribulation right there because you fit in with everybody else. Read.
But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
Because this world abides by its own laws and its own rules. It's not following after these scriptures right here. Everything within these scriptures is opposing to the world. So if you're following Christ, you're going to be hated. Read.
Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord.
So right there, it's telling you, you're no greater than Christ. So the same thing that he went through, you're going to go through the same thing as well. Read.
If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you.
Okay, let's get the definition of persecution. And I actually have it up right here. Could you read that for me?
Yes. Persecution, hostility, and ill treatment, especially because of race or political or religious beliefs.
Get the second one below it.
Persistent annoyance or harassment.
So persecution not only comes, because most of us think persecution's only by death. That's also part of it. But also, you got to realize we're already being persecuted through harassment. What do they call those white ladies that go out on the street and harass us? Karens or whatever?
Karens.
Always going up, bothering our business. That's persecution. But realize this. It's not only from these other nation of people. Even our own family members who are not keeping these commandments will chastise you, annoyance you, whatever they do. But you still got to keep going. All right? Anything else? Keep going?
If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also.
Exactly. All right. So now the key question becomes, how do we prepare? What is going to come by keeping these commandments? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and start from verse 1.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Read that from the top again.
My son, if thou come to serve the Lord,
If you're coming to serve the Most High God,
prepare thy soul for temptation.
brace yourself for temptation, meaning brace yourself for every possible thing that may happen to you. Read.
Set thy heart aright,
Set your mind aright.
and constantly endure.
And that word, endure, you have to consistently endure whatever is being placed upon you. Keep reading.
And make not haste in time of trouble.
And that's a key important thing. Everything that's being brought upon us, we can't like rush things for us to get over, Say, for example, Most High puts an obstacle in our way. We can't rush the Most High, tell him, oh, when is this going to be over with and done with? Everything that's being placed before us is for the betterment of us. Read verse 3.
Cleave unto him and depart not away.
That's right. You're supposed to cleave unto him, keep his commandments, and depart not away. Read.
That thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
Because everything that's being put upon us is a lesson for us. It's going to increase us at the last end. In fact, hold that. Give me James chapter 1 and start from verse 2. Because it's very, very important that we learn how to practice endurance, to trust the Most High, and not lean to our own understanding.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
Awesome. So what does divers mean? You want to look up the definition for it? Because that's another word. We're not talking about diving into the sea, but there's a clear understanding of what diverse temptation, what he means by divers. Go ahead.
Divers, of varying types, several.
Several, many, various of types. You're going to go through many different trials, tribulations, and temptations. Keep reading.
Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
And you're supposed to take joy in that because the Most High is trying your patience. For example, if you go to the gym, right, and you're doing weight lifts with your arms and you're trying to build muscles with your arms, you're going to start off with small weights, right? And then eventually you add more weights and more weights and more weights until your muscles get bigger and bigger. Same thing with the Most High. He's going to give you these temptations, trials, and tribulations. He's probably going to give you a small one when you first start off at first. You never know. And then he keeps adding on to you just to try and exercise your patience because he's building up your patience. But why is patience important? Read.
But let patience have her perfect work.
Because patience is perfect work. All right? Read.
That ye may be perfect.
Because patience will make you perfect, and I'll explain that in various of ways. For example, what can patience be utilized in? Patience could be utilized not only with yourself or waiting for the Most High to give you a blessing or to get you out of a situation, but patience could also work with your brothers. If you have a disagreement with them, if you have some type of issue with them, you got to have that patience and that time with them to work that thing out. But also, if you're also going to go into the street and teach other people, you're going to have a lot of people give you drama, headache, chastise you, just all sorts of things. You got to have patience for that. That's why patience is a key element that we all have to work on being in this truth. Read.
And entire, wanting nothing.
Read that one more again. And entire.
And entire.
And complete, because this will help complete you. And
wanting nothing.
If you have patience, you won't be lacking anything. You really wouldn't be needing anything because you know how to wait and exercise your faith. All right, let's go back to Sirach and read from 2 and 3.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 3. Cleave unto him and depart not away.
That's right. Read.
And that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
Now give me verse 4.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
What did it say?
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
Didn't he say in James, James 1 and 2, that you count it all joy when temptation comes your way. You're supposed to take all these things cheerfully. You know, I know we're going through a whole lot of stress, and I don't want to go rambling on and going off topic, but you know what? This is something that we got to practice on. Read.
And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state.
And there goes that word again, patience, because we're going to be in a lower state, especially in this kingdom. This isn't our rest. You know, we're not in rulership or leadership. We have virtually no power except these commandments and our brothers who are following these commandments and our sisters who are following these commandments. All right. Now, let's go to verse 5, unless any of you brothers have anything else to bring out.
Yeah. Can you hit 1 Corinthians, since you said it's diverse temptations? It's many different types.
Yep.
1 Corinthians 10 and 13.
1 Corinthians 10 and 13. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man.
So he's saying there's nothing new. Like, whatever you're going through, you can't be like, man, I'm the only one going through this.
Yep.
I'm the only one suffering this tragedy. Like, no, the Bible says ain't no temptation but is common to man. Everybody, somebody, whatever you're going through, somebody else has been through it or going through it or is going to go through it.
That's right.
Go ahead.
But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
So he's saying God knows our breaking point. Whatever he put on you, he know your spirit can handle it.
Right.
He won't put nothing on you to break your spirit.
That's right.
Go ahead.
But will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
So now when you're going through that temptation, the Lord gives you a way out.
Yep.
What's the way out? You bringing it up. Endure.
That's right.
Keep the commandments and endure that temptation. Take it with all cheer. Go ahead.
That ye may be able to bear it.
And that's how you'll be able to bear that, by you going in the scriptures, talking with brothers and sisters like-minded to help you get through that temptation. Because you can't get through it by yourself.
That's
you have
right.
to have a strong foundation around you to help you get through it.
All praises.
Like it tells you, woe to him that be alone.
Yep. That's true. All right. That's all praises right there. That is true. We need each other, you know, to lift up each other. What does it say in Hebrews 10 and 25? Exhort one another. That's what we're going to need within this walk if we're going to make it to the kingdom. Now, jump to verse 5.
Oh, which one?
Sirach 2 and verse 5.
Sirach 2 and verse 5. This is the book of Sirach chapter 2 and verse 5.
Read.
For gold is tried in the fire.
For gold is tried in the fire. So the Most High is looking for his gold, so to speak. Who is his gold? We're his gold, actually. Not every one of us, but the 1/3 that are keeping the commandments. What do you do with gold? You put pressure on it. You put it in the fire. You remove all its impurities out. And that's when you know if you have real gold or not. So the Most High is doing the same thing with us, removing all of our impurities with all these temptations, trials, and tribulations. Read.
And acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
And an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity within our enemies. That's our adversity. So let's go to verse 6.
Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him.
So, when you are going through this stuff, you're supposed to believe him and trust him and set your way aright to his commandments. Because if we're going our own way, are we really believing him? Not so much. Go to verse 7.
Ye that fear the Lord.
Stop right there. Fear. So, we all should know what fear is, right? If not, let's go to Psalms 111 and verse 10. Because fear goes hand in hand with patience as well. Fear, not necessarily with this world, but within the Most High God. Let me know when you get there.
All right, Psalms what?
Psalms 111 and verse 10.
Psalms 111 and verse 10. I'm going backwards. Let me get there real quick.
Here you go, King. Oh, wrote it down for you.
Oh. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10.
Okay.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Why? Read.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
A good understanding is to all they that do his commandments. Because if you fear somebody, you're going to do what they tell you. For example, my parents or anybody's parents, if you don't fear your parents, are you really going to do exactly what they say? You're most likely going to be disobedient and do what you only want. So the same thing with the Most High. If you fear him, you're going to do exactly what he tells you without subjugation. All right, now let's go back to Sirach. 2 and 7.
This is the book
Oh,
of
go ahead.
No, I wanted to hit what you were just talking about. Matthew 10. Go to Matthew 10, verse 26.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10.
About that fear.
That's
And
right.
Are we
verse
supposed to
20.
fear men or fear dogs? Like what? Fear what?
Oh, yeah.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 26. Fear them not therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed.
So don't fear men, because the Lord is going to reveal everything about men. Go ahead.
And hid that shall not be known.
And whatever that's hidden, the Lord is going to manifest. You're going to see it. Go ahead.
What I tell you in the darkness, that speak ye in light.
Uh-huh.
And what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetop.
That's the point right here. Go ahead.
Oh, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body,
See, so he's telling you, don't fear them which kill the body. Go ahead.
but are not able to kill the soul.
See, and they're not able to kill the soul. So the Bible, Christ is telling us, don't fear them that can kill your body and can't touch your soul. Go ahead.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
You see that? So he say, fear him. Who's that him? The Lord.
That's
Who can
right.
kill your body and your soul in hell.
That's right. That's all praises. And I'm glad. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so just like Brother Ezra was talking about the fear, I want to bring up another script talking about the fear, Proverbs 19 and 23.
I'll get there. Proverbs 19, you said?
Yes, at
And
23.
All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, and verse 23. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied.
So this is a person that fears the Lord. You know, you're going to have long days of your life. And this is another person that don't fear the Lord.
He shall not be visited with evil.
So if you don't fear the Most High God, if you're not doing His commandments, if you're not working on, repentance and changing your mind, the Most High God is going to visit you with evil.
That's all praises.
That's all I got.
All praises. That is true, because we got to really take this Bible seriously. Just because the Most High didn't put us to death quite yet doesn't mean he forgot everything. That's why grace is here. We need to get ourselves right within this time period. Was that all for verse 7?
Verse 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ye that fear the Lord, wait for
Ye
all
that fear, ye
Go.
that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy.
Right. So when you fear the Lord, you're going to be waiting for his mercy. Read.
And go not aside,
You're not going to go aside. Read.
lest ye fall.
Lest ye fall, lest you don't believe, lest you don't fear him. Read the next verse.
Ye that fear the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
believe him,
Believe him. Okay?
and your reward shall not fail.
Uh-huh.
Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and not for everlasting joy and mercy.
If you fear the Lord, you're going to be doing all of these things. You're going to be believing in him. You're going to trust him. You're not going to go by your own ways. You're going to wait for him. You're going to be patient with him. All right? Go to, what was that, verse 9?
That was verse 9 I read, yes.
Go to verse 10.
Look at the generations of old,
Look at the old generations, our forefathers. Read.
and see, did ever any trust in the Lord, and was confounded?
Did not Job cry unto the Most High when he was being afflicted, and did he not get delivered out? Did not Jonah, when he was in the belly of the fish, did he not cry out to the Most High, and did he not get delivered out? Did not David cry on or called upon the Most High when he needed to be delivered from Saul? All those forefathers were never forsaken, to say the least. Read.
Or did any abide in his fear, and was forsaken?
Exactly. Did the Most High hated any of them that called upon him? Our forefathers called upon the Most High God because they knew they could trust him and they were keeping the commandments. All right? So let's go to, actually, you know what? Give me Psalms 145 and start with verse 8.
Psalms 145, you said?
Yes, and verse 8.
I'm trying to get to the book of Psalms, but
Okay, how about you do this?
Yeah.
For me, read Sirach 2 and 10, and I'll get
2
you
10?
Psalms. Yep.
All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the generations of old,
Okay.
and see, did ever any trust in the Lord?
Oh, I'm sorry. Verse 11. Verse 11, King.
Well, we didn't finish 10 over at the bottom.
Okay,
here.
go
It
ahead.
says, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion
Full of compassion
and mercy,
and mercy,
long suffering.
long suffering. Let's
And-
go to Psalms 145 and verse 8. I got it right here. All right. And it reads, the Lord is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. So you see right here that the Most High God, again, he hasn't been putting us to death because of Christ, but he hasn't been putting us to death as we used to be. He is very slow to anger, but that shouldn't be taken advantage of. We still have to do our part to receive that great mercy. And verse 9, it reads, the Lord is good to all, and his tender mercies over all his works. So the Most High is good to us all. Even though we may have fallen off and those who are not in the truth, he's still good to us. All right? So go back to Sirach 2 and go back to 11.
Okay, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful.
And very pitiful. And in our case, well, I'll say this for myself, I'd rather be pitied upon the Most High than to force him to his wrath. Read.
And forgiveth sins,
Mm-hmm.
and saveth in time of affliction.
And as you brought out earlier today, the Most High knows when to save us in our time of affliction. We don't know it, so we can't rush him. He is exercising our patience with him. All right? Go to verse 12.
Verse 12, woe be to fearful hearts,
Uh-huh.
and faint hands,
Mm-hmm.
and the sinner that goeth two ways.
Woe, destruction unto them, because they don't believe. They say they believe, but they really don't believe. Why? Read.
Woe unto him that is faint-hearted,
Why?
for he believeth not,
For he believeth not. And go ahead and read.
therefore shall he not be defended.
The Most High cannot defend weak and cowardly Israelites who are not ready to keep his commandments, spread this truth. It's just the bottom line. It's woe unto them because they're not going to do what the Most High tells them to do. All right? Read the next verse.
Woe unto you that have lost patience.
There it goes again, that word patience, because you will also lose patience if you don't believe in him. You're going to try to do your own little thing, thinking you know what's best for you, really, when you really don't realize that the Most High had set something for you and you might just bring something else onto your plate. Read.
What will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?
And that's the question that we all have to ask ourselves. What will we do when the Most High visits you when you have lost patience with him? Go ahead.
I wanted to give an example
Mm-hmm.
of what you bringing out. Let's go to Second Maccabees.
chapter 7. This is about this sister with the seven sons, and they were getting tortured.
Ah,
Second
okay.
Maccabees chapter 7 verse.
Just read verse 1.
All right. This is the book of Second Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh.
To meaning to break the commandment to eat, and just as to eat swine's flesh. Go ahead.
And were tormented with scourges and whips.
And with scourges and whips. Now let's jump over to verse 12.
Verse 12. And so much that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage.
Because this son, he took death. He like, I ain't eating it. He took death. And so now they marveling like, man, this brother, he stood strong for his loss. Go ahead.
For that he nothing regarded the pains. Now when his man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner.
So now they got to the fourth brother, and they did him the same way, meaning they took his tongue out, took his arms, his legs off. They mangled him. Go, verse 14 is the point.
Verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good, being put to death by men.
See, so he said, hey, he was ready to go. Because while he's standing stiff for the Lord, he said, hey, it's good to be put to death by men. Go ahead. Why did he say that? Go ahead.
To look for hope from God to be raised up again by him.
You see? So the Lord, remember we read in Matthew, don't fear him who can kill body, who can destroy your body.
Right.
So this brother he was living the laws. He didn't fear him who can destroy the body, but he feared him who can raise him up again, which is the Lord. Go ahead.
As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life.
You see what Esau has no resurrection to life.
That's right.
That's Israel. Israel has that resurrection to life. That's just an example of putting that fear towards the Lord and not into men.
That's all praises. That is a good example right there. Because we all going to have to get to that point right there. We all got to get ready to be prepared to die for this truth. And there's no sugarcoating it. We all got to be ready to take this to the grave. Because there's going to become a time and a point where we have to decide whether we're going to serve the Most High full-heartedly or we're just going to be afraid of this world and just lie down with it. Either way, the Most High is going to do away with you. I know I want the kingdom, but at the same time, too, I want my brothers to have the kingdom as well. With that being said, let's go to verse 15, Sirach 2 and 15.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word.
There it goes again, as brought up. If you fear the Lord, you ain't going to disobey him. You fear him, so you're going to do exactly what he says. Read.
And they that love him will keep his ways.
You know, let me just bring this out for the Christian pastors because they think by just saying loving him, that'll be all right. But this is a simple commandment. You already know where I'm going
You're
with
going
this.
to John 3:16, aren't you?
No, I'm going to 1 John 5 and 3,
1
just
John
to
5 and 3?
reiterate that.
All right.
Correct.
And get to 1 John.
No, we ain't doing John in 3:16 today. We ain't got enough of that from the Christian pastor. But 1 John 5 and 3 we're going to go to.
That's funny. I found John on this one, but the 1 John,
So what's up then over there, King? You
Yes.
want me to go ahead?
it's by Hebrews, right?
Yes, sir. Because, again, it says right there, and they that love him will keep his ways. What is his ways?
Right here. 1 John, you said?
Uh-huh, and that is 5 and 3.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 3.
Go ahead, King.
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
Simple as that right there. When you say you love God, you're going to keep his commandments. And it's not going to be too hard for you to keep his commandments. Sure, you may go through trials and tribulations and temptations, but you love the Most High, you're going to keep it no matter what. All right? Now go back to Sirach 2 and start at 16.
This is the book of Sirach chapter 2 and verse 16. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him.
What is well pleasing unto the Most High? These commandments, keeping them, seeking his face daily. Read.
And they that love him shall be filled with the law.
Because you're going to be filled of the law if you are keeping these commandments and seeking his face. Read.
They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight.
As it said, Sirach in 2:1, you're going to prepare yourself and you are going to be humbling to these words, abiding and take heeding to it. Read.
Saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men.
As what Brother Ezra brought out earlier in Maccabees right there, we are going to fall into the hands of the Most High and not of men. They may do things to us, they may even take our own lives, but we're going to trust the Most High all the way into the grave. With that being said, let's go to... There's something I wanted to touch. The fear. The fearful heart is what I wanted to touch up at. And it's very important that we actually talk about the fearful heart. Go to Deuteronomy 31:6.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31 and verse 6.
Yes, King.
Okay. Be strong and of good courage.
Be strong and of good courage. Read.
Fear not.
What did it say?
Fear not,
Fear not. And go ahead.
nor be afraid of them.
Nor be afraid of any of these other nations, of them. Read.
For the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee.
He's gonna go wherever you go if you are doing his will, his work, keeping his commandments. Read.
He will not fail thee,
He will not fail thee. Read.
nor forsake thee.
Nor forsake thee. But let's go ahead and touch over that again with Joshua 1:9, because a lot of people thinking that, fear not, he tells us that, but you're going to find out that this is an actual commandment. You're not supposed to fear.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 9. Have not I commanded thee?
Read that again.
Have not I commanded thee?
Have not I commanded thee to do what?
Be strong and of good courage.
Uh-huh.
Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed.
Mm-hmm.
For the Lord thy God is with thee whitherso thou goest.
So the Most High is commanding us. He's not telling us for show and tell. He is telling you, commanding you. You have to be strong in this truth. You can't be afraid of any of these other nation of people or whatever the Most High puts in front of you. You have to be of strong and good courage. Because remember, you got brothers watching you. If you're over here being whiny, scared, exactly,
Yeah.
it's gonna fall onto them. And the Most High is not going to. Most High cannot use anybody who's cowardly like that. Go to Isaiah 35:4. And to those of us who are strong, and to those of us who have good courage, there's something that we have to do to those who may be, discouraged. Go to Isaiah. It's in the Old Testament.
Yes. Using these to look for it is confusing.
Here you go, King. Read this.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 35 and verse 4.
Okay.
Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong.
Oh, what are you supposed to do?
Be strong.
What are you supposed to say to them?
Fear not.
Right?
Behold, your God will come with vengeance.
Uh-huh.
Even God with a recompense. He will come and save you.
So we're supposed to be encouraging our brothers, in this truth, stand up for the Most High. Don't be afraid. Because the Most High is going to be with you no matter where you go, as long as you're keeping these commandments. And what did it say right here? It says, behold, your God will come with vengeance. Because the Most High is going to be taking care of that. So you have nothing to worry about. Whoever comes in your way, I would be feeling sorry for them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to touch back on. I want to touch back on being strong. Give me 1 Kings chapter 2 at verse 1, and go down to 3. Because God give us example on how to be strong, how to be a man. Not like the Christian churches, how they teach.
Right.
our men to be strong. They teaching them how to be effeminate. You know, so God give us the meaning of being strong.
That's
Yeah,
true.
right. Give me that first King, two or what?
I'll read it for you. First King chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh, that he should die.
So King David was he's on his dying bed, and he's talking to his son Solomon. Read.
And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go away of all the earth. And be thou strong therefore.
So he's telling his son, be strong. Be strong. Not weak, but be strong.
And show thyself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
Because if you keeping the commandments of God, you're going to be strong because you know who you are.
That's
you
right.
know how to be, a man by keeping the laws. Read.
That's right. To walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest.
So if you are keeping the charge of the Lord and he's going to make your way prosper, meaning, you're trusting in the Lord.
Right.
You're not trusting in man. So, you're going to have it, sometimes you're going to have it easy because you're putting the Lord before you. So he's going to direct your path and you shouldn't have to worry about anything.
Right. And whithersoever thou turnest thyself. That was it. You want me to keep
that's
reading?
it. No, that was it.
All praises. Yes.
Back at second Sirach chapter 2.
Sirach chapter 2. Yep.
Yeah, verse 17 one more time.
They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight.
That right there, humble their souls. Like the question is, how do you humble your soul in the sight of the Lord? Go to Psalms 35:13. How to humble your soul.
This is the book of Psalms chapter 35.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. All right. But as for me, when they were sick with my clothing was sackcloth, I humbled my soul with fasting.
See, so that's how we humble our souls before the Lord, is with fasting. No drinking, no eating, no tasting anything.
All praises. That is all praises. Those are all good examples of how we should be. Again, everything in this Bible is written for us for our understanding and learning. So these are all great examples of how you can actually be strong within the Most High, keeping these commandments. Verse 35, I'm sorry, Isaiah 35 and 4. Did we finish that one out?
Yeah.
Okay. Behold your, okay, yes. So then let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 35.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 35.
Realize something here. When we say fear not, or when the Most High tells you fear not, there's a reason why we don't fear any other nation of people but the Most High God. Read.
To me belongeth vengeance.
32 and verse 39.
Oh, 32 and 39. I was reading 35. 32 and 39.
Read.
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me.
The Most High don't need any help from, because why? Read.
I kill and I make alive.
He kills, he makes alive. Read.
I wound and I heal.
He wounds and he heals. Read.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
So if you're worried about your own life, there's nothing really to be worried about. The Most High has that intact. If it's your time to go, hey, it's your time to go. But if you're keeping the commandments, if you're being obedient, if you have that strong faith and charge within the Most High God, you have nothing to worry about. All right? From that, let's actually reiterate that with Isaiah. Go to 45 and start with verse 4.
You said Isaiah 45 and verse 4?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 4.
Okay.
For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect.
For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel my elect. Who is Israel? We are Israel. Read.
I have even called thee by thy name.
He has called us by their name. Read.
I have surnamed thee.
He has named us, ordained us already. Read.
Though thou hast not known me.
Even before this truth, when we did not know, he had known us, or he has surnamed us before us. So we don't know exactly who's going to make it into the kingdom or not, but he already named us before. Read.
I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me.
There he goes again. There's the Most High God. It's him by himself. There is no one else doing this but him. Read.
I girded thee,
He protected us. Go ahead.
though thou hast not known me.
He had protected us and preserved us for this very moment, though we haven't known him at the time. Read.
That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me.
Even as high as the sun, rising from the east and setting to the west, there is still nothing higher than the Most High God. There's nothing beside him. Read.
I am the Lord, and there is none else.
There is none else. Read.
I form the light and create darkness.
So he formed the light and create darkness. Read.
I make peace
He made peace
and create evil.
and he created evil. So he created good and evil. Read.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
So again, what do you have to fear? You're basically, if you trust the Most High God, you really have the Creator beside you, basically the one who controls all things. Why would you fear another man that has all these arsenals at his side, but yet the Most High God is controlling him? There's nothing to fear. Read.
Drop down, ye heavens from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness.
Right, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. Read.
Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation.
Here on this earth, we're supposed to be bringing righteousness, keeping the commandments until the Most High God comes back for us. Read.
And let the righteousness spring up together.
We're going to have to spring up together in order for us to get out of this captivity. All right, and you know what? Give me Ecclesiastes. Oh, did you have a scripture? Go ahead.
Yeah, because like you bringing out, it's balance. The Lord,
Right.
the Most High is giving us balance.
Go to Sirach 33. Start at verse 11.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 11. In much knowledge the Lord hath divided them, and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them that he hath sanctified.
This is right in here. Sirach is talking about the days. He made all days have the sun.
Right.
So he say some days are the same, some days are different. Some days he's sanctified. Go ahead.
And set near himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low, and turned out of their places.
Go ahead.
As the clay in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure. So man is in the hand of him that made him,
The Lord. Go ahead.
to render to them as liketh him best.
He make them exactly how he wants them to be. Go ahead. This is the point.
Good is set against evil.
So good is against evil.
And
like
life,
you know how they say if you want to write a good movie, you have to read the Bible. So
Right.
good man against the bad man. Go ahead.
and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner.
You see, so it's the same way. The godly against the sinner. The Lord deals with balance. It's balance. Go ahead.
And sinner against the godly.
Go ahead.
So look upon all the works of the Most High.
See, so when you read this chapter, it tells you how the Most High he works. And it says, now look upon all the works of the Most High, good against evil. Life against death. The sinner against the righteous. Go ahead. The sinner against the godly. Go ahead.
And there are two and two, and one against another.
See, it's two and two is balance. The Most High, he deals in balance. Was that it? Yeah, that was it right there. That's
All
it.
praises. All praises. Because we got to know exactly how the Most High operates. Because, again, our understanding is not exactly how his understanding is. We have to keep his commandments and just basically do what he says. Fear him at all times and not worry about what we go through. All right. And you know what? Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. I'm actually about to wrap it up right here.
Ecclesiastes.
Unless
12
any of you
and
brothers.
13.
Oh, you got one? Okay, all praises.
Okay. Wow.
Hold that. He's going to bring another scripture out.
All right.
Give me the book of Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 1. 11 and 1.
You said Proverbs chapter
11 and verse 1.
11 and verse 1? All right.
Yes, this is going back and talking about the balance where Ezra just brought up.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 1. A false balance is abomination of the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
So a just weight is going into equal balance. So that's why he said in verse 1, he said a false balance is abomination. God is a just God.
Right.
So that's why Christ made the statement in Revelation 13 and I think verse 9, he's that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's a balance. He's weighing everything out.
All
So
praises.
that's all I have.
No, that is a good point right there. Balances that you and Ezra brought out, these balances have to take place. The Most High God is a just God. He's a fair God. You know, we go into captivity. He's not just going to let the other nations just get away with that. He's going to have to recompense that, give us a balance for that. But it's only to those who keep the commandments. And, you know, I was hesitant on talking about this subject for this week because I know with all these things going out, but I just want this scripture or these words to come out to be of good encouragement for our people because we're all going to go through this. We really are going to go through this. That's why, what did it say? When you break bread and it tells you to count all the costs, examine yourself, you're supposed to examine yourself and really think about if you can pay up exactly what the Most High requires you for this walk. But to draw the conclusion of this whole class, go to Ecclesiastes. You already there?
Ecclesiastes
12 and 13.
12 and
Just
13.
the basic bottom line we're supposed to do.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13.
What's the bottom line?
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments.
That's it. We're supposed to just fear the Most High God and keep his commandments. Fear goes hand in hand. Well, fear of the Most High God is a key essential because you're going to practice patience. You're not going to be worrying about all these other things that are happening right now because it must come to pass. You're going to be doing his commandments. You're going to be loving your brothers. You're going to be doing all these things that the Most High requires of him because you fear him.
And can
That's
I finish
all
it
I-
off?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
To finish it off, it says, for this is the whole duty of man.
For that's the whole duty of man.
Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 9, because you said he's coming to save the righteous, the ones that's keeping the commandments. Amos 9, verse 9.
Amos 9, verse right here. This is the book of Amos chapter 9 and verse 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
You see, so at this time, he's going to sift the house of Israel among all nations. Why? Because Israel, we're scattered in all nations. So he's going to shift us, gather Israel out from everybody. Like if you got a pile of dirt and there's gold rocks in it, you get that shifter and you keep shaking it to
Right.
get the dirt to drop,
Yep.
but then you got the gold chunks in it.
That's
Go
good.
ahead.
Like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall from the earth.
So he's going to do that with Israel. Not one Israel's going to be left behind. But this is the stipulation. Go ahead.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
So it's telling you the righteous is not going to be no righteous brother or sister child left. But the sinners of his people is going to die by the sword. Go ahead.
which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Oh, we saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. God, the Lord died for everybody. Like our people that don't want to do not one commandment. Go ahead.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacles of David
Meaning Israel, the ones that's fallen.
that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof.
Meaning the split between northern and southern kingdom. He's going to bind us together.
All praises.
And I will raise up his ruins.
Why? Because we're in a ruinous state. Remember Deuteronomy 28:48. We're destroyed. We're a destroyed nation. But the Bible says he's going to raise us back up. Get northern and southern kingdom back together. Get us out of the ruin. Go ahead.
And I'll build it as in the days of old,
He will build it as the days of old. Go ahead.
that they may possess the remnant of Edom.
See, because Edom possess us now. So this is the flip side, the reverse the curse. Go ahead.
And of all the heathen, which are called by my name.
See, but all the heathen that are, what heathen is called by the name of the Lord? Amalek, the so-called Jewish people. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord that doth this.
See, so the Lord, he sealed it. He said, hey, the Lord is going to do this thing. That was it.
All praises. That is really good point right there. Any other brother have a good or any scripture to bring out? If not, I'm going to close it out with Matthew 26:6.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and 6.
Mm.
I'll get there. Oh. This is the book of, I'm right here.
All
This is the
praises.
book of Matthew, chapter 26 and 6. Now Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper. There came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall be also this, that this woman hath done, be told for a memorial of her.
Praises. With that, we say shalom and stay encouraged and keep seeking the scriptures.
Shalom.